Hello, everyone, and welcome back or welcome to the Introspective Diaries. I am Nana Hasia, and if you're new here, this channel is all about faith, introspection, spirituality, and embodying our God given identity. So, this video is about reclaiming your power as a spiritually gifted woman. When you are a spiritually gifted woman and you are unaware of this, there can be a lot of turmoil that happens in your life that you may be unable to process at a specific stage in your journey. As spiritually gifted women, we may go through attacks, right, in the 3D, in the physical realm, that may come through in the forms of bullying, slander, stalking, people who have strange obsessions with you, people who spiritually spy on you, people who want to send negative energy, spell work, and witchcraft your way, right? And this is all a form of spiritual warfare that can take form or take place in different realms. Now, when you are unaware of this, but you've endured it, right? You've gone through it, the attacks, the bullying, the stalking, etc. It's very easy to adopt a victim mentality or just to embody victimhood generally. And this often stems from not knowing the full extent of your power, and it goes from not knowing the full extent of your God given identity. And when this happens and you embody victimhood, you not only make yourself more susceptible to more spiritual attacks, but you also are not doing justice to the role that you're here to carry out, to live out, right? Because the path of being a spiritually gifted woman, in whatever kind of archetype this may manifest, is not the path of fear. It's not the path of being scared, right? No matter what you've gone through, no matter what you've told yourself in the past, it's not a path of fear. And oftentimes, the reason why you face a lot of these attacks is because people oftentimes are able to sense your power before you do, right? And this is where sometimes the confusion happens when you're a spiritually gifted woman, because you may just be going about your day to day life, minding your own business, but there are people who are trying to come for you in certain ways, they're trying to attack you in certain ways, they show aggression towards you, the list goes on and on and on. And the path of being a spiritually gifted woman is the path of being a natural. You're not meant to force anything, okay? It's a path of being natural, which is something that can seem quite paradoxical because we face a lot of backlash and attacks for just being who we are. So for some people, it makes sense to become more cold, more, you know, uh, more closed off, more aggressive, whatever it may be. But the path of being a spiritually gifted woman is a path of being a natural, because you already have all the power that God has given you. You have it, you were born with it, right? So when you embrace victimhood or victim mentality, like I said, not only do you make yourself more susceptible to spiritual attacks, but you are doing a disservice to your very essence, to your very being, right? You are meant to embody, to a large extent, fearlessness, right? You are meant to heal through the things that you've been through naturally. You are meant to defeat the darkness naturally and calmly. Okay. And this is something that took me a very long time to learn, because I've gone through a whole lot of different phases and different kinds of projections from people and attacks from people. And I, like many other spiritually gifted women, have had the thought, when is this going to end, right? But when you are here to face darkness, to transmute darkness, you need to understand that your light is always going to bring forth what people have tried to hide. You easily bring forth the truth. You easily bring forth all the darkness that people have tried to bury for a very, very long time. Okay, you bring forth the truth within others, the complexities within others naturally. And this is why sometimes you'll have people who admire you at first ghost you completely, right? Because they can oftentimes sense that you are not living life by the same rules that they're living their lives by. But not only that, they are confused as to why you're not playing by their game, right? Or you're not playing by the rules society has the rules society has set out for us to play, okay? To play by. So when you're on this path and you're unaware, it can bring about a lot of confusion because, like I said, you're just minding the business and then people try to attack you, or you find that people you never expected to betray you do betray you. And all of these experiences are there not only as initiations to sharpen your spiritual abilities and your power, but to also cause a shift within you, to also let you know that depending on other people is not for you. Okay. So the first step to reclaiming back your power is, like I said, relinquishing the victim identity that you may have put on. You know, the woe is me, the why does this always have to happen to me? You have to put that aside in the bin, burn it. Okay. Because naturally, like I said, when you are a spiritually gifted woman and you embody light and truth to the best of your ability, you are going to irritate people naturally. Okay, this can be in any kind of setting. It doesn't matter where you go, you are going to irritate people naturally. And you're going to have people who may admire you, like I said at the start, try to turn against you. You may have people who try to intentionally get under your skin, who do smear campaigns, all of that. You have to learn to decenter yourself from this. You have to learn to decenter your identity from this because, like I said, with the energy that you carry, a lot of this stuff is going to come up naturally. Okay, and it's not your fault. You just have to stop basing your identity on it. And you have to learn the wisdom that comes with these things, right? You know, the wisdom that comes with friendships, with relationships, with whatever, what have you. You have to learn your lessons. So that's the first step. The second step is the ego, right? When I see a lot of content about, you know, especially women who have gone through these kind of experiences, the destiny swaps, the bullying, etc. A lot of it is egocentric content. A lot of it is kind of telling you that, hey, because you're so amazing, and you're so perfect, this is why everyone's attacking you, and woe is you. It's kind of putting you in this egoistic framework that is going to be destructive, especially if you have wounds to heal. Okay, and the reason why I say this is because when you are walking this path, when you have been chosen for this path, you need to understand that it's not for your ego. How God has made you, the gifts that He has endowed you with, is not for your ego. When you begin to think about these things, what you're able to do, how you can heal yourself and others, how you're able to command certain things, how you're able to be in sync with nature, and you look at this from an egotistical point of view, you are not only praising yourself, but you are setting yourself up for a dangerous trap, right? Which is the trap of the ego, in a sense that I believe having a healthy amount of ego is necessary, especially for this path. But when you begin to take on a lot of what this kind of content is spewing out, when you begin to take on a lot of the woe is me stuff, when you begin to take on a lot of that I'm just so special, this is why these things happen to me, you are setting yourself up for a dangerous trap that you are going to have to work yourself out of, by the way, because the path of being a spiritually gifted woman is a path of constant death and rebirth. Okay, you are meant to shed yourself from the illusions that you once believed, that others once projected onto you, that you once, absorbed from others. And you're here to understand that your gifts are not for your self aggrandizement. Okay. Primarily, your role is one that is meant to be of service, one that's meant to shed light on darkness. And it's not for you to not only it's not for you to boost your ego with, is what I'm saying, because that's what a lot of the content there does, right? And when you do this, like I said, you'll find yourself in a constant loop of having to go through ego deaths, right? Because when you allow yourself to be used as a vessel by the Most High, you are not praising yourself. You are allowing what God has put into you to come out. And this is the thing, this is a part of our identities that a lot of people find hard to accept, that it's not to boost your ego. It's not here to make you seem like, that you're the best thing since sliced bread. You're meant to embody your God-given identity, which does come with perks, but not to self-aggrandize or to put down others. So this is the second part of reclaiming your power, and this is actually very liberating because you free yourselves of the shackles that other people place themselves in, right? Because we all know how people who are quite egotistical act. I think everything's always about them, and that's not the path for you. You free yourself from all of that, and it's a very, very liberating feeling to go through, because at some point, as a spiritually gifted woman, you'll have to go through an ego death where all illusions that you once lived your life by collapse entirely. And it's not for the weak. It's not a process that's for the weak, right? But it's necessary to free yourself. And the third point is your calm is your power. Your calm is your power. There is so much power in being calm and still. A lot of people try to make it seem like when it comes to spiritual warfare, or that when it comes to defeating your enemies in however they manifest, that it's about always being loud and aggressive and all of that. Being calm and allowing your God-given identity to shine through, allowing the wisdom that you have learned over the years come through naturally, is your power. And this is something that God revealed to me some time ago when I found out that a so-called friend of mine had done witchcraft on me. Even though I removed her completely from my life, I was naturally still very angry, naturally still very taken aback and shocked by the whole situation. And I was just like, oh my goodness, what now, right? And I really heard God telling me to let everything go, to transmute all the anger, the betrayal, transmute that into calm, and then let karma, take its course. Let karma, you know, restore balance, essentially. And this is something that's very, very important when you're a spiritually gifted woman, because a lot of people will try to get you out of your calm. When you actually think about it, a lot of the warfare that is sent your way is to disrupt your balance and to disrupt you at your core, your essence. So when you embody calm and you embody peace, you not only think clearly, but your gifts are able to come through at a much more sharper, rate, at a much more intense rate, right? Which is why, like I said, the reason why you've gone through so much is exactly because that you're a natural. So you naturally bring a lot of these things to light. So because you're a natural, you don't need to be aggressive to fight your battles, right? Now, this doesn't mean being passive. Being calm is different from being passive. I do not preach passivity. I preach calm and wisdom. Okay. So, and also when you're calm, you're able to understand when something that's in your energy doesn't really come from you, right? This is why calm is very, very important. And these are the three main tips that I have to reclaim your power as a spiritually gifted woman. And like I said, to relinquish the victim identity or mindset, to go through an ego death, to break the illusions that you once lived by in your life, will set you free. And three, to be calm, because being calm is powerful, right? Don't let the different natures of the warfare that you've experienced disrupt you. And know that your calm is your power. This is how you fight, okay? And if you would like to work with me in any way, shape, or form, feel free to click the link in the description box and book a session. And feel free to subscribe and leave a lovely comment if you've enjoyed this video. And I will see you in the next one.